Namandats, 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 namandats. Bujo Midanyorai Nildo Jo Sadge Bojo Shakanyorai Nildo Jo Sange Bujo Jiponyorai Nildo Jo Sange On this occasion, of the Tacoma Buddhist Temple's Hatsubon service, which symbolizes the joy of liberation from one's karmic ignorance and foolishness. We have gathered here to express our gratitude to all things and beings which make our lives possible. In recognition of the interdependency and impermanence of all life, we are made to see the preciousness of everyone, who in their own way manifests a unique color and light. Let us reflect upon our own mistaken notion of self that leads to unhappiness and suffering, and begin to radiate warmth and understanding towards others surrounding us, so that we may discover a deeper meaning and a greater sense of fulfillment in our lives. In this moment of reflection, we also remember our loved ones who returned to the Pure Land from the time of our last Obon to this Obon. They are Dr. Sam Uchiyama, July 12, 2020. Frank Komoto, September 22nd, 2020. Miyoko Kanda, December 17th, 2020. Miyoko Sato, Shaku Bion, February 2nd, 2021. Katsumi Fujita, Shaku Yobi, March 17th, 2021. Violet Mizukami, Shaku Seiko, May 17th, 2021. In this moment of reflection, we express our love, respect, and gratitude, and may we endeavor to listen, to follow their example in life, and urging for us to entrust in Amida Buddha's primal vow. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandats, 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 namandats. Namandats, 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 namandats. Buset Amida Kyo Nyozen Amon Ichiji Bunzai Shaekok Gijuki Kotoku On Yodai Bikushu 1250人大勢大やら監修小知識長老者利法マカモケネンマカカショマカカセンネンマカクチラ リハタシュリハンダガなんだなんだらごらきょぼんはだいびんずるはらだかるだいまかこひなあくらぬるだにょぜと初代弟子病床菩薩まかさ文殊師利法事やいた菩薩天高大菩薩上昇人菩薩如如ぜと初代菩薩牛釈大観音と無量昇天大祝に自分を長老者利本樹絶祭法果樹万の分道世界妙案極楽行動分を阿弥陀本現在世法者利法非道学妙因極楽五国衆生無宿単樹昇楽光明極楽者利法極楽国土七十乱十七十乱も七十五十海税司法主相異如税公非国妙案極楽者利法極楽国土牛ポチ白毒水十万五中地大十二本社富士四辺街道金言瑠璃ありんご上場うろかく薬位金言瑠璃ありしゃこしゃくしゅめの二言直地四中連下大女者輪小式小公大式陽公釈式釈公白式白公微妙公結者利本国楽国土上寿如税空毒称号ぬ者利法非部国土上差天学黄金二次中夜六時に万だらけ五国衆上上位小単各位英国上州妙家供養他法十万億分即位直地検討本国本直協業者利法極楽国土上寿如税空毒称号武士者利本非国上主樹奇妙座式市長白国弱オム者利下領敏が無名市長絶唱首長中夜六時水和下音黄金延長五根合力七宝大部八正道分尿税東方合同修助門税四二開新年仏年法年祖舎利本尿門二市長人税裁法少々小医者が非部国土無三幕主者利法 五部国土聖無三幕土神明画教神税小宗教改税阿弥陀仏欲両法恩前年演芸少佐シャリホッキ部国土未部水道小法五十牛ホラモ水未妙異尿百千十悪道熟さ門税四社開示年上年仏年法年相死死シリ本語部国道上寿尿税功徳正言ナモアミダ仏ナモアミダ仏ナモアミダ仏ナモアミダ仏ナジポウミジン世界の念仏の主情をみそなわし摂取して捨てざれば阿弥陀と名付けたてまつるごうじゃじんじゅの如来には万行のせうぜんきらいつつ妙法不思議の信心の等しく人へに進めしむシャリホンおにょいうんがひぶんがこごあみだしゃりほひぶんこみょ無量生じ報告無償証言税今後いあみだうしゃりほんひぶんじゅみょぎゅごにんみんむ 無変阿蘇義公公明阿弥陀シャリホ阿弥陀仏上仏如来おこんじこうしゃりほ非仏無無量無変正門弟子海あらかん非ぜ三十師匠の知消防殺種薬分尿税者利法非部国土上受尿税功徳称号うしゃり本国ら国土修上昇者改正阿弥陀地ご中他う一生不生ご主人他非絶三十小の知識単界無量無変阿蘇義公説者利法修上門者応答本願願書被告所依者が特用尿税症状善人空営一緒シャリホン不可一緒前後福徳意念特所被告シャリホ脈前難自然四人門説なみだぶ主持名号脈一日脈二日脈三日脈四日脈五日脈六日脈七日一心不乱五人人名十字阿弥陀仏よ少少寿現在午前で二十時神父天道即徳往生阿弥陀仏極楽国土舎利本願健税利公正死言脈修上門絶摂者応答本願消費国土舎利法ヨガ根者三段阿弥陀仏不可思議功徳逃亡薬阿宿微仏趣味相仏大趣味仏趣味公仏妙音仏尿税と合学者修正部各王合国水工場絶素遠風三千大先生開戦上実後尿と修上都心税小三不可思議功徳一切勝負小五年よ舎利法南方世界日月と仏妙門公部大円天仏趣味と仏無量精進部尿税と合学者修正部各王合国水工場絶素偏不三千大先生会戦場実後尿と修上都心税小三不可思議功徳一切勝負小五年行舎利本西方世界無量寿仏無量寿仏無量道仏 大好仏大名仏法相仏上皇仏行税統合が社主勝仏学王合国水工場絶相変布三世大仙世界戦場実言用途修正都心税賞賛不可思議空読一切諸文章五年行シャリホンホポ世界無縁見仏最小音仏南小仏二小仏無名仏行税と合が社主小仏各王合国水工場絶相変布三千大仙世界戦場実言用途修正都心税賞賛不可思議空読一切勝負正五年行シャリ本下法世界牛死仏妙門仏妙高仏断腕仏報道仏自法仏行税と合が社主勝負各王合国水工場絶相変布三千大仙世界戦場実語用途修正都心税賞差不可思議空読一切勝負正五年行シャリ本行法世界無凡論文、宿王文、工場文、高校文、大円見文、座敷法慶言支部、シャラ十王文、法慶特文、見一切義部、行趣味線文、行税と、合が社主勝文、各王合国水工場絶相、変布三千大仙世界戦場実語用途修正都心税賞差不可思議空読一切勝負正五年行ナモアミダンブナモアミダンブナモアミダンブナモアミダンブナジポウゴウジャノショブタゴクナンシンノノリオトキゴジョクアクセノためにとて所有上五年せしめたり勝負の五年勝負上は日が ゆえなれば今後しの縁人は皆の大恩おうずべし。シャリホンおにょいうんががこみょい一切処分所後年行シャリホン薬善難死善女人門税処分小説名牛教名社税小善難死善女人会祭処分愚小言連海徳不大天大阿のくたら三役三菩提税公者利本女と海と真珠がご随小部小説者利本役人い発願、根発願、東発願、欲生阿弥陀仏国者、聖書人と、大徳不大天、大阿のくたら三役三菩提、お非国土、脈意書、脈根性、脈東小、税公者利本、小善難死、善女に、脈信者、応答本願、小非国土者利本女が根者、小三小分不可思議功徳必勝部と役所説が不可思議功徳日差前言釈無二仏の偉人な慶宇史事のシャバ国土五辱悪性、五辱賢辱、煩悩辱、中上辱、妙徳、中徳、阿のくたら、三脈三菩提、一生修助、節税一切世間難死死法、シャリホントチガオ、五辱悪性五人難事徳阿のくたら三脈三菩提一切世間摂氏難死死を税事難仏世死教位シャリホンギショビク一切世間天人なしゅらと門仏小説安義真珠さらいにこ仏説阿弥陀経 ナモアミダンブ。ナモアミダンブ。ナモアミダンブ。ナモアミダンブ。ナ五辱悪事悪世界へ辱悪邪見の主上には弥陀の妙語与えてぞごうじゃの勝負進めたる。ナモアミダブオとのればジポ無量の勝負歌百自由千自由いねうして喜び守りたもなりがんにしくどく平等せいさいどうほんぼ大心おうじょうあんだこナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツ Please join me in Gasho. Seeing the sentient beings of the Nembutsu throughout the world, countless as particles in the 10 quarters, the Buddha grasps and never abandons them, and therefore is named Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandats, 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 namandats. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Hatsubon service of the Tacoma Buddhist Temple. I hope everyone is enjoying their summer break and that you are enjoying the nicer weather in the Tacoma region, or in pretty much all of Washington. I was talking to my family members, and they said that another heat wave has hit the California area. So it's nice to know that we've sort of switched weather with, especially the Bay Area in California. That's where my parents are. Today we commemorate the members who have passed away and their families who have lost their loved ones in the year span between last year's Obon and this year's Obon. And in that time, we usually come together as a community to show our love and support to these families and to once again engage in the listening, the deep listening of the teachings of Shinran Shonin, our founder, and the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha, who gave us the 3 Pure Land Sutras. The wasan that I quoted this morning comes from Shinran Shonin's wasan, or hymns, on the Amida Sutra. I'll read it for you again. Seeing the sentient beings of the Nembutsu throughout the world, countless as particles in the 10 quarters, the Buddha grasps and never abandons them, and therefore is named Amida. I think it is very important that we all remember the sort of core teaching of our school, is that all of us are afflicted with bonno, or blind passions. And in this time of Obon, we take the time to reflect and remember the family members who have passed away, especially the ones who have passed away since last year's Obon. I think it is important because in our tradition, when a person passes away, they are immediately born in the Pure Land. According to Shinran, they are immediately born, they are immediately awakened, and they immediately return to this world to guide us further to the Pure Land. And while we should not take these words in a 100% literal fashion, I think there is a lot of merit to them, and frankly, we should take these words very, very seriously. And the reason is because it is very necessary for us to reflect on the passing of our loved ones. In this time, the passing indicates that they are no longer physically with us in this world of samsara. They are no longer physically in the form that we remember them as. However, our memories and our good feelings that we feel when we think about these people still remain with us. And when a person passes away, when a person leaves this world and is born in the Pure Land, for those of us who are still in the world of samsara, as we are here now, we tend to really do our best to recall and think about their memories, about the lessons that they taught us, about the time-honored family traditions that we would have with them. All of these memories come back to us, and we sometimes reflect on ourselves. Maybe we didn't think so well of a lot of these traditions at times. Maybe we would complain in the moment about how much work that would go into it. Maybe we would complain that, these family gatherings are crazy, or, oh, here we go with Obon again, and here we have to go with doing all of this prep work and doing all of this work for this whole day. We sometimes have these thoughts. And then what ends up happening when a person who is very essential to our lives and to the lives of the temple, when that person passes away, we are left thinking, wow, I really wish this person was still here. Wow, I hadn't really thought about how much impact this person has had. Wow, I guess we won't hear this particular song anymore, or, oh, I won't see that person dancing anymore. And then we are overcome with a great sense of sadness. But after that sadness passes, and believe me, we should feel that sadness because it is healthy. But after that sadness kind of passes, or it's transformed into this great sense of appreciation, to know that that person has given us an everlasting effect on our life. There will always be lessons and wonderful, wonderful times that will be with us forever. I recall the many events in the past of my grandparents, especially my maternal grandparents, who were, in fact, community leaders of Lodi Buddhist Church. For those of you who do not know, Lodi is a small, it was a small city. It was a farming town, frankly, that was about maybe 30 to 35 minutes south of Sacramento. And every year, our family would go to their Obon Matsuri. I would remember times where my grandmother would be in the kitchen with all of the other Fujinkai women, and they would be preparing the bento boxes with the teriyaki chicken and the sushi rice. I would remember my grandfather would be barking away the numbers of bingo when, right, people always come to the Obon Matsuri festivals, and bingo is a huge part of the celebration. So my grandfather would be up there saying the numbers and the letters. And it makes me realize that there has been quite a bit of time that has passed. Now, for the record, I am 32 years old. So I'm certain for some of you, you're probably thinking, wow, he's so young. What does he know about being old? Or what does he know about getting old or life like that? For others, depending on how old you are, for others, when I say that I'm 32 years old, they might think, wow, he's old. Especially when I think of the YBA kids, they probably look at me like I'm sort of an old person. They probably look at me kind of weird because they probably think that I'm this old person who's trying to act young. They probably think that, why is he acting this way? Why doesn't he just accept the fact that he's 32 and that he's no longer a teenager, or he's no longer a 20, or even he's no longer a 20-year-old? Why does he continue to act like he is this young person? Whereas other folks may look at me and say, wow, you're so young still. You have no idea what life is like, and you have no idea how things are. Talk to me when you're 70-something. And so it's kind of interesting, I think, being in the middle here. And in that time, I realized, wow, a lot of time has passed. In my personal opinion, or in my perspective, a lot of time has passed. Because it was over 20 some odd years ago that I was there in Lodi. It was over 20 some odd years ago that I was kind of bumbling and fumbling around, dancing in the small Lodi circle. And in that time, all of these wonderful feelings start coming back to me about thinking about my grandparents, thinking about the past loved ones, and how I must have felt during the time when they initially passed. It was an experience, I will say. But it's important. It's very important that we continue to feel these things And it's very important that we continue to reflect on these people, on the ones who have passed, and what they did with their lives. And in fact, a big part of me believes that this is why we continue to have these Obon celebrations. Yes, fundraising for the temple is very, very important. Yes, getting together with friends and family members and being able to dance around in a big circle, play carnival games, play bingo, eat great teriyaki chicken, all of these things are very important. And yet there is still a deeper meaning behind this festival. There is still a deeper meaning that brings us together. And that deeper meaning is reflecting on those who have come before us, those who have left this world, and those who were born in the Pure Land. It is this deep meaning that I think drives us to continue this time-honored tradition of Obon. And what a wonderful tradition it is. This tradition has now gained national attention. We now see the Obon Matsuri festivals being advertised on national television. We see news crew come out and show these events as well, showcase these events on the news, on the local news, on national news. And it's one of these things now that I think that we over time have not necessarily taken for granted, but that we sort of have come to expect every year. We have come to expect that we are going to be able to participate in these multiple celebrations, these wonderful, wonderful events where we have all this fun and we dance around in a big circle and then we plan to go to the next one, right? There's a lot of people who, and I'm included in this, who like to Obon hop. I would go to the San Jose Obon, I would go to Lodi's Obon, I would go to, of course, I was the minister's assistant at the Buddhist Church of Florence, so I would go to their Obon. And then after I started dating Reverend Cindy, I would go down, all the way down to Gardina's Obon. So it's really, really fun to go to all these different Obon and see how everyone does the dances a little bit differently. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we were not able to have a full-fledged Obon. Now, this year, some people are starting to do a little bit like hybrid events of Obon, which is nice. And it shows that we're kind of slowly moving back to possibly doing these big events in person. And I certainly hope, and I am very much looking forward to the day that we are able to do our Obon Matsuri in its fullest form again. So I'm looking forward to that. But I ask you all now, in that time when we were in the pandemic and we were not able to have these in person, there were still a lot of online Obon that were done. There was still dancing because we got to see on YouTube and on other Zoom sources people doing their traditional dances based on which temple that they belong to. And it was great. And in my personal opinion, and from my observation, the drive to do these things wasn't just the fundraising aspect. I understand that the fundraising aspect is a large reason as to why these matsuri are done in the first place. However, to me, there was also very much a presence and a need to once again recognize those members who passed away in that time period between the previous Obon and the current Obon. There still was this need and understanding and importance that these people, these members who passed away, need to be recognized and honored. So, in my personal opinion, this is something that is very much reflective of our teachings of Jodo Shinshu. To me, the pandemic, while being challenging in that we can't get together and that we can't celebrate in person, was very, very challenging. It was very, very hard. And yet, we as a community, we as a temple, continued to do our best to show our gratitude to the past members, to the Buddha, to Amida Buddha, to the teachings. We have found very creative ways to go about showing that appreciation and desire to learn more. So regardless of the time period, regardless of where we are, regardless if there is a pandemic or not, the Dharma still continues to work for us. The Dharma wheel still continues to turn. Amida's wisdom and compassion never ceases to stop warming us, never ceases to stop grasping us. And so therefore, I believe that for many of us who want to continue showing these acts of gratitude, these acts of appreciation, and of course recognition of those who have passed, we are in a sense still receiving the wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha. We are still understanding that Tariki is still working for us. There is still Tariki happening. There is still other power that continues to work. So with that in mind, I would like to thank everyone for their continued support and dedication to us as a Tacoma Buddhist temple, and to the members who continue to work and to continue to support the temple. And I would like to give a very large shout out to Wendy Hamai, Lynn Ray Hubble, and Donna Sasaki for the beautiful work on the candles. Every year, the temple does memorial candles. Yeah. So with that in mind, please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Nam mandats, nam mandats, nam mandats, nam mandats, nam mandats.